Welcome to Glazed Over, a podcast for contemporary ceramic studios. We're your hosts, Jessica Cowan
and Vanessa Steele. You're invited to join us in a creative conversation about life in the arts and entertainment industry.
Feel like a juggler at your ceramic studio? Between classes, bookings, and admin tasks, those pins keep flying. Let Occasion help you put down the act and get back to creating. Visit occasion.act to discover your peace of mind.
Hey everyone, Des Toll here from Biscuit Imports. And if it's time to refresh your studio tools, we've got you covered. From quality brushes to smarter kiln support, it's the perfect moment to upgrade the tools you rely on every single day.
If you own a fired art studio, this event is built for you. The Contemporary Ceramic Studio Association's annual convention is happening August 27th through the 31st in Tampa, Florida, and it's packed with education, inspiration, and community. From business strategies and creative classes to an exhibit hall full of supplier partners, this is where studio owners come to learn and recharge. Don't miss out. Learn more today at ccsaonline.com.
Hi, Erica Jones. How are you?
Hi, Vanessa. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Your studio, remind me, is the Turquoise Cup in New Jersey, right?
Yes, I'm in Burlington, New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, wow. All right. Wow. I haven't been to that area before, but are you guys in full summer mode now or?
Pretty much. School has gotten out, so
Okay.
but it's still, our area is more like a historic district. So when summers happen, a lot of people tend to go to the shore and go out of
Sure.
town. So our summers are pretty slow, and I don't do summer camp in our studio. So
Okay.
we're actually seeing a huge increase of membership. So we have studio membership for clay. So
I love that.
we're getting a lot of our members coming in
Mhm.
during this time, so it's great.
That's such a great revenue resource to have that coming in all the time. I think, yeah.
Absolutely. And you were the one that gave me that idea.
Yay. Yeah, I love clay. I love clay. Clay is money. So
Yeah,
you're also on the CCSA board,
I
correct?
am. Yes.
And what position do you have on the board?
So I don't sit in an executive seat. I am just one of the regular board directors. And so going to the board meetings monthly, helping to plan convention annually, coming up with or contributing to some of the ideas and different things that we use to kind of push our industry forward. So yeah, it's been a great experience. I highly recommend that anyone that is really looking to really be in this industry long term, considers joining
Yeah,
the board of CCSA at some point, really being able to have your
absolutely.
hands in making a difference for our industry and for our
Mhm.
specific genre of pottery studios. So, yeah.
I just interviewed Julia yesterday, and I was thinking about you today, and I was thinking, of all my studio friends, Erica Jones has all her ducks in the row. She always has like everything organized. You're very planned. You're very meticulous. So when I saw your convention class, I was like, perfect. That's the perfect class to take because that's an Erica signature class if I ever saw one. What
That's so
made you come up
funny.
with the idea? Yeah.
So that's so funny. I appreciate that character description.
Yeah.
I do try to be organized. It doesn't feel like I always am, but I would say that this class was born of that. I've attended a lot of conventions. And so, at the end of convention, you go home and you're filled with all sorts of inspiration and ideas, and what's the first thing to do? There's so many ideas.
Mhm.
And so the past couple years, I have brought my studio managers, and I wanted to be a lot more planned and organized, and because that's a
Mhm.
huge expense, and so you really
Yep.
want to be
Mhm.
prepared for that. And I wanted to make sure that my managers really got the most out of their experience. So that's when I really
Mhm.
started like structuring what our
Okay.
convention plan forward was going to be. So the past couple of years, I made sure to bring a 3-ring binder because we get the packets and all the
Yes,
vendors and
yes.
suppliers
Oh,
are
yeah.
handing out
All the
work.
goodies.
Yeah. And so I really wanted a place to like organize everything.
Hmm.
So last year when we did our sticker handout, I also needed a place to put there were so many stickers. Everybody had
It was so
stickers.
great, right?
It
It
was
was
so
fun.
great. I loved that
Yeah.
one. But there were so many stickers and I needed a place to put them. So I started putting them on my binder. And then I'm like, this is now going to be the binder that I bring to convention every year.
Oh,
And
wow.
then it kind of came about in uh I feel like everybody should have this. And if you
Hmm.
don't, then that is the purpose of this class. So
Nice,
um,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, the binder, I was thinking about your binder class and I was thinking that keeps the idea book, those notebooks we all go home from convention with these great ideas. But the binder, it keeps us to maybe to go back and open that book afterwards and kind of access those resources that we've created. Do you think that's what the
Absolutely.
binder's going to serve as?
Yeah, so over the course, the board met back in
Hmm.
January, and that's when we really start like needling out what are going to be the classes that are offered. And so I've pretty much been working on this binder very steadily, very consistently since then. So I actually have my little
Oh, that's a big
there's a
binder.
lot of info in here, you guys.
That's a big
Um,
boy.
So, the purpose of this binder is number one, it is going to be a collection of all of the things that you capture during convention. And this is going to be a very hands-on workshop.
Oh,
So
good.
everyone will receive a binder. I'm going to walk you through it. So everyone
Okay.
receives a binder, and then
Uh-huh.
not only do you use it there at convention, but the goal is that you continue to use this throughout. It's a working binder. So you continue to use this
Nice.
after you come back from convention when you come back to your studio. So during
Hmm.
our pre-con class, we're going to be working together, sitting together to go through. There's different worksheets. We're going to be addressing certain things. Prior
Okay.
to the class, I'm going to be sending out a worksheet that people
Little
can
homework.
prepare, a little homework so that when we come to convention, you're prepared and you're coming to the class that you're prepared and you have the stuff to be able to
Sure.
add to the binder. And I started testing the binder in my own studio, filling it in
Mhm.
with the things that are designated throughout.
Sure.
And I think it's going to be very helpful towards making actionable steps. We spend so much, we invest so much time, we step away from our studios, the
Hmm.
money, the
Hmm.
travel. There's so much that goes into convention. It's not worth it if you're just going for the fun of it, right? Like you really
Agree.
do need to be able to have actionable steps when you leave convention. And
Hmm.
so this is kind of the step up for that. Um, during You'll use the binder during each class that you attend. At the end of convention, you'll have a place to kind of jot down your notes and your thoughts and all of that. And there will be prompts for that. And then there's also just different parts that you continue to add to throughout the year. So my goal is that, you know, the doing it for the pre-con is really going to be the most valuable, but the goal
Hmm.
is to set it up where this is something that can happen every year. And it's something that hopefully, people really like and that we continue to offer annually.
I love that. I love actionable steps. I love that.
Yes,
That's important. Very nice.
absolutely.
Okay, so I saw one of the things descriptions in your class was that you would create a personal roadmap. Is that something we need to come to your class in with, or just something that you will create in your class?
That's a great question. So the roadmap is the binder. So there will be that worksheet that goes out ahead of
Mhm.
time. However, during the class, we will be taking the steps during the class to walk through what needs to be filled in. So we'll be doing that part together. Also, it's a almost a CCSA reference guide. I know that
Okay,
you know, there are so many resources that we
so
offer,
many.
and
Agree.
it truly is almost an impossible task to expect that anyone can really absorb 100% of what we offer.
Mhm.
So with the development of the new website and kind of following along in this binder, there's going to be a lot of places where there's resources back to the website so that
Okay,
you can know or have a template, a roadmap, if you will.
okay.
A roadmap, if you will, to exactly what it is that you need to do to fill in the gaps for what you need for your business.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And then who do you think should sign up your class? I've signed up your class already, but do you think it's maybe the first timers or someone new to a studio ownership or somebody more seasoned or advanced? Who's going to really benefit from signing up from your class?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anyone, everyone attending
Okay.
convention will find this valuable. I think whether you're a seasoned owner that you've been in business for a long time, 20 years, and you're still growing, or if you're just a first time attendee, I think if you're a first time attendee, it'll super valuable because you'll kind of have a better idea of how to go in. If you've never attended convention before, there's a lot that's happening. It's not a vacation. It is because we
It
have such
is.
a good
It
time,
is
right?
so much
So
fun. Absolutely.
it's kind of a vacation. Plus, the hotel is amazing, so it's a little bit of a
Yeah.
vacation. But
Yeah.
you're working the whole time, and
hmm
there's a lot to absorb. And so this will be kind of a really great intro as to how to kind of attack, your exhibit floor. And when you're interacting with all the different people that we have conversations with throughout, this is the place to capture all of that.
Oh,
If
wonderful.
you are a seasoned owner,
hmm
I would say that this is a great binder for you as the owner to have a single place where everything, a single place to capture everything that you should have. It maybe
Okay.
won't be as heavy of a lift to kind of really make sure that the binder kind of is serving the purpose that it's supposed to serve.
Sure.
But I think it's going to be really valuable for. I'm hearing back already. There's a lot of people that have signed up, and a lot of them are seasoned studio owners.
hmm
But I would highly recommend it for big. If you're serious about really growing your business and
hmm
having it be a well operating machine, it would be a great um, class to attend.
Yeah. To get your ducks in a row, right,
Get your
Erica?
ducks in a row. Exactly.
Wonderful. And so, what things, for a lot of us have been to a convention before, but maybe someone listening has never been to a convention and they're trying to, you're always trying to get like the best tips for it. What do you think would be the number one tip for somebody just going to convention this year for the first time? What would you tell them?
You mean besides take my class?
Take your class,
Um,
of course.
what would be the most valuable thing when attending convention? Um, talk to people.
Yeah,
Don't
that would be
in
mine. Yeah.
between, yeah, in between. I mean, just be where the people are.
Yeah.
Even if you are quiet and shy and introverted, if you're sitting at a table, speak to and
Say hi to strangers. That's what
say
I always
hi
say.
to
Say hi to
strangers.
everyone. Yep.
Literally, just say hi to strangers. We have on name tags. Feel free to call people by their name.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
strangers with a name tag, not so much strangers, but anybody with a
yeah,
convention name tag, say hi. Yeah,
exactly. Say
absolutely.
hi. And we'll actually be talking about that as well during the class. Like, so, afterwards, or towards the end of the class, what do we
hmm
what do we do moving forward with all these contacts that we've made throughout convention? So, yeah,
Sure.
it's
I know
neat.
that you have the binder and you've had the binder for a while, but for somebody going to convention, or maybe just you, so were you able to get stuff out of your binder and into your turquoise cup studio business? Like what was the best attack? Did you get home and wait a week to decompress, or did you call from the convention and tell your staff, all right, this is what we're doing? Like what would you say you did from convention, let's just say last year, to help
Mhm.
benefit the turquoise cup?
Yeah, so I would say maybe at least the past couple years, one of our colleagues, Megan Supple, she put out a kind of a roadmap for if specifically for if you're bringing your manager to the
Okay.
studio and like a planning. And I
hmm
found that to be super helpful. And I've also consulted with her on this binder. There have been a lot of great tips from other really seasoned studio owners that have been curated to go in the binder. Um, but really, like that is the most important part, honestly, for what I did was, having a plan. We on the plane ride over, because
Uh-huh.
I do pay my staff when we are at convention, and
Okay.
so I need to make sure that I'm getting the most out of the money
Sure.
that's being spent. So let's make sure
Mhm.
that, we're not just going in and, meeting people and just having fun, right?
Mhm.
There's goals that we need to set. So we had a meeting on the plane ride there. For a little while, not the whole plane ride.
Right.
Eventually, we just kind of sat back and listened to music and crocheted and whatnot.
Sure.
And then at the end of convention, I didn't bring a 3-ring binder. So the first thing that I did was I had a suitcase full of stuff. We went in
Yeah.
very
Oh, yeah.
specifically.
Mhm.
We went with a checked piece of luggage there that was empty, and then filled
Empty.
it
Mhm.
on the way
Smart.
back.
Yep. Mhm.
So here's what I really did. I had a empty check-in bag and my carry-on. My carry-on went in the checked
I
luggage,
came back.
went
Mhm.
there, and then on the way
Mhm.
home, I just had my carry-on with me.
Sure.
Picked
Mhm.
that. So my very first stop after I got off the plane was to my studio to unload all of that because I don't want to take it
Mhm.
home and then all the things. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
first thing there, I got my 3-hole punch, punched up all the things, added them
So
to my
smart.
binder.
Mhm.
And then the next day was, I think I gave her like the next day off after convention. It was maybe like
Mhm.
2 or 3 days when we met again, and then we sat down and we went through the things that we filled out in our prompts or the worksheets that we had. Um,
Okay.
and that's, I think, when it really occurred to me, like, is everybody doing this? Like, this is really, really
Yeah,
necessary.
I know. Mhm.
And so this is just to kind of to help facilitate that planning process for everyone.
I love
Uh,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And then
amazing. I love it.
and you asked what's the most important thing? The most important part was the follow-up. So checking
Mhm.
in 30, basically
Yeah.
I have a scheduled check-in at the beginning of the month. So every 30, 60, 90 days, whatever, I'm
Oh,
checking in at
wow.
the beginning of the month. Where am
Mhm.
I as far as my goals? So yeah, just knowing where you've
Sure.
come from and knowing where you want to go.
That's great advice. I love it. Love it.
Clarifying. Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited to go to Tampa. I think it's going to be a great convention. I love the location.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
beach girl. I live by the beach, but it's always nice to see a different beach. We can
Yeah.
get out to
I don't
Clearwater
know how
maybe for the
close
day.
we are to a beach.
About
That
40
is,
minutes, I believe. About
oh,
40 minutes from
fantastic. Okay.
Clearwater. Yeah, not too far.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to go to the beach when we were there in January, but there's an amazing rooftop pool.
Oh,
Going to
all
be fun
right.
times. Yeah,
Bring
there's
your
an amazing
swimsuits.
rooftop. Oh yeah, but please, you'll be mad at yourself if you don't bring a swimsuit. Bring a swimsuit.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks. I'm really looking forward to your class. I always need more structure. I feel like I'm good with the creative, but I'm always more structure is always good for me and my business. It's always smart to put your business hat on and have fun, but also get more structure. So I am super excited about your class, and I'm
Yay.
super thankful that you chatted with me today. And
Thanks.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in August.
Sounds good. I'll see you then.
Hey, podcast friends, let's talk Studio Refresh. Start at the table with our emerald brushes, strong, smooth, and totally studio proof. Built to handle soaking, scrubbing, and daily wear. They're available in singles and multi-packs and ready to become your new go-to brushes. Then head to the kiln room and upgrade to Kiln Core Stilts, built with a solid refractory base for stability and sharp precision-cut metal tips that leave tiny, clean marks. Rated up to Cone 10, they deliver dependable support and confidence with every firing. Small upgrades, big difference.
Are you spending hours managing studio bookings and class registrations? Occasion helps ceramic studios save an average of 3 days a week in admin time. With clever workflows, instant confirmations, and seamless class management, you can focus on what matters, creating amazing experiences for your customers. Join successful studios like Clay Cafe Avalon, who've trusted Occasion since 2016. Visit occasion.app and schedule a demo today. Mention Glazed Over podcast for personalized setup support.
Hi, Julia. How are you?
I'm great, Vanessa. How are you doing today?
I'm good. This is Julia McNair from DIY. Tell me again your
Do-it-yourself
studio name.
crafts.
Do-it-yourself crafts. And I was thinking before we got on this line that everybody should have a Julia McNair or a friend in the business. If you have a studio of your own and you're listening to this, it's really important that you have a couple of friends, like a handful of friends that are also studio owners, and that you can call them or text them or just share the highs and the lows and all the things in between. And I feel like convention is a great way to get those people, don't you, Julia?
I, the fact that some of my closest friends in the world are people that I met at the very first convention I went to in 2003 in Philadelphia, and I still they are my friends. They're my near and dears. They're my sounding board. They're my I don't have to explain what I do for a living when I'm talking to other
Yes,
studio owners, and it's the best part of having those friendships. And I think that they are incredibly valuable. They're they're the side effect of going to convention is you end up with people who get you. So if you've been to convention before, you already know this. If you haven't been to convention before and you're trying to decide, that's the secret sauce, is that you're going to get
agree.
in there, you're going to meet people, you're going to have that aha moment. You're going to look at each other and be like, I see you. I get you.
Hmm.
And it's super
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, I feel like that's why the majority of us go to those events, pottery camp or the VI camp or
Absolutely.
Hair
All the
Fest. And
different.
but convention is kind of it all mashed into one, and it's such a
Well,
great
you get everyone.
experience.
You
Yeah.
get all of those people. And
Yeah,
also, I mean, it's like, we have this relationship with each other, but it's also great because we get to know our suppliers. They're not nameless,
absolutely.
faceless, and we aren't either. We become friends, and
Absolutely.
you get to have that the relationship. Okay, especially now, we'll drift into what I'm going to talk about. It's the relationships that we get to have with our customers is so special. I mean, like, honestly, it is one of those things that is so unique to our industry that we have this
Agree.
time with our customers to get to know them, and they get to know us, and over the years and years you get to have these relationships that are incredible. And that's the same thing with convention. And my joke is always that I see Becky Majewski more often than I see my Aunt Becky McNair, because we see each other at pottery camp, and we see each other at events, and we see each other at convention, and we have this. And so when my son and I went on vacation to San Diego, we spent a day with Becky because we were right there together. And you get that because you go to these things and you sit down next to someone and you say, "Hey, I'm Julia. Where's your
Right.
studio? What do you do? What do you love? What do you love?" And I love what I do. So,
Right. And it shows. It shows. All right, so convention. We are here to talk about your class that you're teaching at convention. You always have a class, and this one this year is called Policy, Procedure, and Profit. And in case you are listening to this and you haven't signed up for classes yet, she's going to be Saturday, August 29th, the 10:15 to 11:45 slot. And I have sat in on some of Julia's classes in the past, and they are very, very, very informative and fun. So you're a very great conversationalist. You have a really great ability to like tell stories and also relate to everybody because everybody has customer service in their studios. So if you have not signed up for Julia's class, even though you know nothing about it right now, I can tell you you will not be disappointed. So it's going to be a great class.
so here's my thing.
Okay.
We own paint your own pottery shops, but what we are in is the customer service business. And I've spent my entire post college life working in customer service. I worked in a bookstore. Well, I spent a little time working in an engineering firm, but we won't talk about that. I worked for a high end department store, and all of it was ultimately about customer service. And that's what we do here. That people come in, they don't know what they're doing. They've never been there, especially if you're the first studio in your area, or if they're just new, they don't know. So
Right.
it's our job to foster that customer service experience for them to want to come back, to be able to keep coming back again and again, because the goal is not just to have a customer have a great experience one time. The goal is for them to have so much fun that they come back and they become a lifetime customer. And if you have a customer that comes 4 times a year and spends
Hmm.
$60 a year, or $60 a time, and that adds up, then your good customer service helps build that long-term, financial gain for you.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and one of the things, so I've really been focusing on customer service so much in the last couple of years, because I feel like customer service is a dying art. Amazon
Absolutely.
does not offer any customer service beyond
Hmm.
getting something in 2 days. Okay. Online doesn't exist. And even like self checkout. we've lost customer service. I mean, self-checkout has removed that last bit of it from a lot of places. No one's, did you find everything okay? How many times do you hear that at the grocery store when you're self-checking out? Never, because you're the person.
Never, right.
So our business is especially geared towards customer service. We're going to be hands-on with that customer. We want to make sure they're doing things correctly. There are things that don't, if they do them wrong, they're going to do them wrong. Oh,
Hmm.
sorry.
Absolutely. And I know
Um,
one of the descriptors of your class was how to make sure it's not a personality for your staff, more of a policy. So
so
kind of
it's
explain that, Trent, that.
someone said this to me one time, a long time ago, say it's not a preference, it's a procedure. And even
Oh, I
though
love
your
that.
preference is to say the spiel, like the opening spiel when someone comes in, even though your
Hmm.
preference might be to say it a different way because you like how it sounds, it's a procedure that needs to be done the same way every time. So what you
Sure.
have to do is set that procedure of what you want. It's not a preference of, you know, where the price gets, if you write the price on your pottery, it goes in the same place every time. It's not a, well, this is what I felt like at the time. It's not a preference for the, and it meaning that it's not a preference for your employees, that like
Mm.
every, what we always say, if I could only clone myself, right? Oh my
Right.
gosh, if I could just,
Hmm.
if I could, I've always said, if I could make more time or more Julia, it'd be fine, but I can't figure out how to do either one of those. So I need,
Right.
and I just need one. If I can make more time, I don't need more Julia. If I need more Julia, can't figure that out. So if you're trying to clone yourself in your studio,
Hmm.
that's what this means. It's not a preference, it's a procedure. Here's the procedure I'm going to follow. I need you to follow it as well. And what you do is you free that employee from having to make every single decision every single time. You've given it to them. You've given them the
Okay.
playbook. You've said, this is how, when in this situation, this is what you do. In this situation, this is what you do. And in this situation, you find me. And you give them that simple way of handling things so that they look confident and competent in front of the customer, so that your customer has confidence in your competency as a business. They're not like, I don't know what they're doing. We
Right.
want them to know that when they come into your studio, they are coming in to see the experts in the field. They are not
Right.
coming to a place where people aren't sure what they're doing. They know that the people know what they're doing, and they know that they're going to get those consistent results back. I mean, can you imagine if you had a customer that came in one time and had this great experience and loved it so much, and they got their piece back and it was perfect and everything looked good, and they're like, oh my gosh, they helped me every step of the way. And then the next time they come in and there's someone who doesn't know how to talk to the customers, hasn't been trained well, isn't confident, doesn't want to correct a customer if they're doing something wrong. And then the customer comes back the next time and their piece doesn't look good. They're going to be
Right.
like, they're not going to think, well, what if it happened in the other direction? What if the bad experience was
Right.
first? You never get that second shot.
They're not
I
coming back
always
for the
say that,
second.
like,
Yeah.
if you've never eaten Chinese food and you go to a bad Chinese restaurant and it's
You'll
just
never
bad,
eat again.
you're never going to, you just think, oh, I don't like Chinese food.
Hmm.
So you don't want your first impression. You never know when you're making that first impression. You never know when your store
Right.
is making that first impression on a customer. And we want those customers to be happy and to be loud about being happy, because we all know they're loud about
Hmm.
being unhappy.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to talk about in this class, this is the focus of this one, is very much going to be like, how do you get those procedures set? How do you decide what's important to you? And what's important to you, Vanessa, might not be the same thing that's what's important to
Correct.
me.
Hmm.
And that's okay, because that's how we're going to operate. We're all going to have our studio, everyone owns a studio that they are choosing how they want to operate, how they want to train their staff, how they want to do things, how they want to staff their store. Like, do you want to have enough people that your customers are getting that hands on, or do you want it to be a real hands off situation? Both of those are fine. It's what works for you. And that's the biggest thing that I always want to say, is that, like, this is how I drive my car. I want you to drive your car however you want. Don't hit me.
Don't hit me. Right.
So we're all good. And that's the thing.
Right.
Now, there are things that, I want to make sure that everyone in this industry always is having best practices. Like, please do not dry foot coffee mugs, because that's
Right.
that's not a good, good practice. But individually in your store, how you handle things, that's up to you. But you got to tell your folks who work for you how to do things so they're
Sure.
not twisting in the wind, because that's not fair to them either. And so having established policies, and we're going to talk about like not only how to do it, but how to make it easy for your employees to implement the things and learn the things, and what things you have to do to make, we would be great if we could just like, all right, I'm going to take it out of my brain and put it into
Or
yours.
chip right. Absolutely.
Done. Fantastic. Can't figure out how to do that yet, but we've got
Yeah,
other things we can do.
that's right. I also saw that there's going to be a little bit of AI in your
Yeah.
class. You're going to touch on AI. How is that going to help studios?
Well, so I use AI in ways to make sure that I'm communicating what I want people to hear, because it's all up in here somewhere.
Hmm.
And sometimes I'll say things and I'm like, do you already know this? And they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, well, let me back up a little bit and get you what you need to know. So sometimes I use AI as sort of a pretend you've never worked here. This is what I'm telling you. What do you not still not know?
Mm.
So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about how you can, and I've been writing about this for the CCSA magazine, about how you can use AI to help you with your policies and procedures. We're going to, talk about that a little bit more, but also how you can use it for, things that you need around the studio. I don't know. It's interesting. It's always evolving. By August, it may be
It
a
really
whole
is.
different thing. Who
I
knows?
know, and
It's
it's
2 months
crazy.
from now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, if someone's on the fence about which session to take, what would you tell them? Like they're looking at the spot that you have, that Saturday morning slot. What would you tell them? Who needs this class? Who needs?
I think this is for the owner operator who is in their studio, but not all the time. You want a day off. I'm trying to take days off. The new concept. So if you want to be able to step away from your studio, but have confidence in your staff keeping what is important to you going, we're going to talk about that, because
Hmm.
that is so, and if you're not there all the time, it's also important. Like, if you're not there all the time, you definitely don't want every shift to be a
Mm-mm.
totally different situation.
Right.
How do you handle, how are you handling a rush? Because if everyone doesn't do it the same way, someone's going to be sad. Their piece is not going to get handled correctly. Or how do you
Hmm.
handle custom stuff? Or how do you handle whatever the anomalies? I think it's interesting that my staff, someone said to me one time, nothing weird happens. All the weird things happen when you're gone. And I'm
You're
like,
gone.
all the weird happens all the time. I just grab the phone and handle
Right.
it, and y'all don't have to. So now I'm going to tell you guys how to handle the weird, or how to make sure that the weird doesn't get swept under the rug. And I'm going to tell you, I came in and sit down for this call, and I looked up, I have a bulletin board above my desk, and there's notes for Julia. It's supposed to be a certain place. And I looked, and nowhere near notes for Julia is someone who wants to schedule a class. And I just saw it, and I'm like,
Huh.
how, how did that
Yeah.
happen?
You
But
know, a good indicator might be if you are signing up for convention and in the back of your head you're thinking, how am I going to leave my studio for 4 or 5 days and
yep.
go to this amazing convention? You might want to sign up for Julia's class
Well, and
because that's
okay,
going to help
so
you get your staff ready.
this has been part of my process for being able to leave. Um, I'm traveling more, a lot more.
Good for you.
I'm going on a big old 2 week trip with my son in July, our
Amazing.
second busiest month of the year. But it's important to me that I be able to spend this time with my son,
Absolutely.
which means it's important that so it's a lot about training yourself to be able to let
Hmm.
go. And it's about getting your staff ready to let you go. And you gotta walk before you can run. So starting with this is a good way to begin that. What are my priorities? What are my priorities for how the store runs with you and how the store runs without you?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Feel like a juggler at your ceramic studio? Between classes, bookings, and admin tasks, those pins keep flying. Let Occasion help you put down the act and get back to creating. Visit occasion.act to discover your peace of mind.
That's your studio refresh. I'm Des Toll from Biscuit Imports, where better tools mean better results. Check out our emerald brushes and kiln core stilts today at biscuitimports.com and get your studio running stronger than ever.
No two studios look the same, and that's exactly why the Contemporary Ceramic Studios Association exists. Whether your studio offers paint your own pottery, clay hand building, wheel throwing, glass fusion, or a mix of it all, CCSA is here to support you. From education and resources to community and industry advocacy, we help Fired Art Studios grow stronger businesses. Wherever you are on your studio journey, CCSA is here for you. Learn more at ccsaonline.com.
Julia's classes are always great. It's a great conversation. She's a great storyteller. It's that Southern girl in her. She's a great storyteller. You'll find Julia at Do It Yourself Crafts. So if you want to Facebook stalk her like we all do to one another, you can find her there. She has a great studio, beautiful studio. Does lots of things. You do clay, you do resin, you do glass. What all do you do in your studio?
We're paint your own pottery. We used to do all sorts of stuff before the pandemic. And then when everything shut down, that gave me a lot of time to really look at what was earning its money.
Crunch numbers.
I came out of it, and we had some personal things going on in the world too. So it was like we needed to simplify some things so that I could redirect my focus a little bit. And so we are paint your own pottery, but we also have a clay studio, clay side. We have studio side and clay side. That's new, but it's taken me, I've been a little bit more hands off. But in the process of becoming hands off, I have really honed in on what has to happen consistently, because that consistency is so important. Like what happens on Monday needs to happen on a Thursday, on a Saturday. And we need to be able to give as good of customer service Saturday at 2 p.m. when it's insane as we do it Wednesday at 11:30 when it's crickets.
It's quiet. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, great. I'm looking forward to seeing you at convention.
I can't wait to hug your neck.
It's going to be fun.
And
I know it's going to be super fun.
And I can't wait. I'm excited to sign up for classes my own self because, I know. Like you never stop learning in this industry. It doesn't matter.
Never.
It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. And my favorite thing, I absolutely love talking to a studio who is a new studio owner who has had that aha moment, because we've forgotten them. But even for old dogs, we can learn new tricks.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, you as well. I hope you have fun, and let's all survive summer.
All right, you too. I'll see you soon.
Bye, friend.
Bye.
Glazed Over is brought to you by the CCSA, the Contemporary Ceramic Studios Association. Thank you to our moderators, Jessica Cowan and Vanessa Steele. Editing by Scott Lester. Executive production by Vicki DeWorth. Learn more about becoming a member at ccsaonline.com.